Part 4. I'm trying not to mess up the sound without sounding like a hag. Alright, part 4, and then Impertinence is the next. Okay. Sephiroth smiled faintly. One thing at least, he thought, is back to normal. I saw him fight. If he continues to work hard, I believe he will, as you say, be an excellent first class. I will let you both return to training. Trying very hard not to look at Fair, Sephiroth nodded to both of them and calmly walked to the exit. The strange feeling in his stomach was working its way upward past the heart. He was supposed to report all physical and neurological symptoms to Hojo, no matter how small or brief, and he was normally dutiful in this. But the doctor was the last person Sephiroth wanted to see or think of right now. He wanted to get out of this room and see if the uneasy feeling would subside. He wanted to forget the terrible expression on Fair's attractive face. Beyond that, he didn't know. Angeal let out a quiet and ragged breath as the automatic door shut behind Sephiroth. They would have to talk later. His friend's reaction had struck Angeal as one that would require probing. But right now his responsibility was Zack, who was pale and open-mouthed and blinking too much. He gently took the sword from Zack's grip and sheathed it himself, then clasped his hand on the slumped shoulder and tried to make the boy look at him. He shook him a little, and the pale eyes flickered up at last, brighter and wetter than usual. Angeal had never seen Zack cry, and had the impression that he rarely did it. During one of their first sessions together, when he was supervising Zack's attempt to beat the third-class record on an obstacle course, Zack had gotten too eager to pay proper attention and fractured his ankle. Even then, the only yelling he had done had been at Angeal, the insistences that he could finish, and demands to be put down at once. Zack, it's all right. You won't be penalized for this. The General appreciates bluntness, you know, and you have only spoken aloud the sort of thing that's been whispered for years. I'm not them, Zack said softly, sounding choked. I'm sorry. Though he knew now that his mentor was not a touchy-feely guy, Zack was miserable enough to lean his head on Angeal's chest, and Angeal was worried enough to hold him there. Zack said nothing and didn't move until he felt a hand petting his hair and began to wiggle away. Playfully, Angeal held on. Hey, I'm not your puppy. You're someone's, and there's no response to the found posters I put up now, so for now you're mine by default, Angeal said with a gruff laugh. You're forgetting to repress again, Zack grumbled. Can you teach me how? That's not who you are, Angeal said, putting an arm around his shoulders and walking him to the exit. You don't want to be like me. You'd only get annoyed at yourself, then. But then I wouldn't feel like this. There's a great difference between not showing your feelings and not having them at all. One leaves you lonely, the other inhuman. Are you lonely? Not much. Anymore. Zack smiled sadly. Do you think he is? Perhaps, Angeal said carefully. Come on, puppy, that's enough for today. When you talk to the General, will you tell him I'm sorry? If you would like me to, but I don't think he wants an apology. Just in case, I will. And if you promise not to dramatically drown yourself in the showers, I will promise not to spring the Sephiroth hologram on you anymore. Okay, Zack said, sounding a bit more like his usual cheerful self. I don't really mind it, I just don't want to fight it. As realistic as the program is, I'm afraid there isn't much else you could do with it. Are you implying... Angeal! The commander smiled, ducking Zack's swing and ruffling his hair. Zack brought out a side of him he had not known existed. If things had only been a little different, maybe he could have done the same for Sephiroth. And, of course, he does. So, until the next installment, this is Mona Lovely, reading for Amarissia. I just thought in the spirit of Final Fantasy as well, the music I'm going to play is Safe and Sound from the new Advent Children Complete, which I need to just either buy a bootleg of or see it online or something. It has Gerard Way in it, who I would usually never listen to, but he does a dandy good job in this. Dandy? Wow. So, yeah, next installment of Decorum is going to be Impertinence, and I have that recorded, and I'll probably post it up pretty soon. I just need to do like a little mini illustrations for it, and editing does take a little while. But, oh well, I'll deal. And I just got cast in a play, so I'll be a little busy. But we'll make this happen. I promise. Much love, chickies. Honey and Smut.
And of my hopes and dreams are for anyone. I keep them safe and sound. And though this picture is not yours anymore, but can you hear me